so I'm not going to make that mistake again. Is anybody willing to share anything? These sessions are incredibly informal, but it would help. You don't have to, but it's always nice to speak with people and say, okay, yeah, so we understand what's going on. Somebody's trying to jump in. So what I'm talking about in this session, I'm just still trying to let people in. So what we're doing today is really just talking about how LinkedIn can help you to get more clients, but also at the same time, this is still useful if you were a job seeker, because you're still trying to get companies chasing you or clients chasing you. So the principles of what I'm going to be talking about are pretty much the same. So that's the way that we want to think about it anyway. So have we got job seekers? Have we got freelancers in the room? What have we got? Is anybody willing just to say that? I don't mind. Yeah, have we got any freelancers or job seekers? What have we got in the room so far? Just gonna let this lovely lady in. Okay, maybe you can type it into chat, both. Okay, fantastic. Okay, oh right, both, okay. So we've got a lot of both going on. Okay, great, okay. So what I'm talking about now will, oh God, everybody's both. So what I'm going to talk about is relevant whether you are in that job seeker model or whether you are a freelancer that's looking for clients. And the way that I like to look at LinkedIn is that LinkedIn is good, but it's only good if you're selling a product or service that is high value, not volume, high premium price, okay? So anything really over £500 is one way to describe if that fits into that category. So if you were selling a book and you're trying to do it on LinkedIn, that's not going to work, okay? Just to clarify, how you would use the LinkedIn side of things. If you're looking for, a job, obviously it's going to work for you as well. But what you're really trying to do is we need to be changing the profile so it's ultimately fit for purpose. So to get clients or companies chasing you, the way that I like to see it is that often the LinkedIn profile is just not good enough. It's average. And the problem with average is it doesn't get you hired, or it doesn't work as well as it should. So does anybody fancy jumping onto LinkedIn for me and let me prove a point? Maybe I get caught out here, but it'd be interesting. So it would be really useful to look at your KPI on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn for me, jump on the home button on LinkedIn. On the left-hand side of the screen, there will be a picture of you and how many people have viewed your profile. Can you work what that is out and type it into the chat box? Don't worry, I'm not gonna, but that would be a good way for you to understand, is my profile fit for purpose? So sometimes I like to back up what I say. Okay, so somebody's been really honest and said 66. If we've got anybody else, just go to the home button on LinkedIn, left-hand side of the screen. There will be a mini picture of you in a circle. 280, got somebody else, and how many people have viewed your profile. Just going to let somebody else in. So what that statistic or that KPI is telling us on LinkedIn, by the way, is it's telling you, okay, over 90 days, that's how often my LinkedIn profile has been seen. That should be telling, yeah? So why is that important? I want to explain that. And what I should have done is maybe had my own LinkedIn profile up. Okay, so let me just do that for you. The way that I look at it is that for a LinkedIn profile to be effective, and this is not rocket science, but it needs to be seen. Yeah? If a LinkedIn profile is not seen, you can't get hired, or you're making it more difficult to get hired. Kind of makes sense, yeah? So one of the things that you need to be thinking about is that it needs to have great content, But the next problem is that it needs to be seen by the right people. And often these things don't match up. So for the people that have shared their statistics, thank you for that. And let me put it into perspective. You really need to be getting it up to maybe the 500, 600 mark at least. Okay, my LinkedIn profile seems to be incredibly slow loading, but I promise you it's in the 1,000 mark, okay, like 1,500 or 1,600 mark. So we'll let it look, but this is what I'm trying to say to you. So if you are ultimately trying to find clients, you've got to think about, okay, I need to have great content, and then it ultimately needs to be seen by the right people. And I am going to come back to how you get that profile seen. So I'm not going to leave you in the lurch there, but I am going to say to you, those are the two things that you need to be thinking about. Again, I like to think about very things similar, very simple, in a simple way. So there's my, who's viewed my profile. You can see my screen, it's 1,674, okay? So I'm saying to people, okay, if I am, I need to be visible, I need to be seen, because by doing those things, it allows me to get into more conversations leads to more clients. Same approach applies to job seekers. Great content, targeted to a certain niche, yeah, okay? And then it needs to have great content, and then it needs to be seen by those people, and then it needs to lead to conversations. And that's what most people forget. They don't recognize that's what they should be doing. So a lot of people go, oh, I'm on LinkedIn, now what? That's the goal, right? So I'm using LinkedIn to actually focus on delivering or enabling me to have more conversations with key people that can potentially hire me. That's my goal for LinkedIn. Have you got a goal that's similar like that? And if not, that's what you should be striving for. Again, if somebody said to me, what's the purpose of a resume or a CV? The purpose of the resume is to get you to a coffee or get you to an interview. And again, if those documents aren't doing that, then they're not actually fit for purpose. So that's really important to stress. So what we just covered so far, we've said that LinkedIn pretty much works if you're offering a high value service. It needs to be at least over £500. It's not any good for something that's low value, for example, like a book that you're trying to sell. It does work incredibly well if you are a job seeker, and it does work very well if you're looking at B2B, which is business to business, or B2C, business to clients, for example. We've also said that what most people don't recognize is that in some senses, your LinkedIn profile is your calling card, and it needs to have great content, and it needs to have those people viewing that profile, because if people can't see you, they can't hire you. That's the way that I like to think about it. Okay, so let's come back to basics for a second. So a lot of the times I see clients, or they say to me, hey Sue, I've got all these keywords in my profile, but I've got to put them in there because that's how I get seen. Do I look like I have keywords in my profile? No. Okay, because I don't want to sound like a robot. And I also find it slightly off-putting as well, because I understand why you're doing this, but at the same time, I don't think it's really going to help you that much to get the profile views that I do. Okay, so I know that we've been taught, okay, this is what you should be doing, but the way that I think about it is that a well thought out LinkedIn profile anyway would naturally have those keywords in there. It doesn't need to sound like a bit robotic and stuck, particularly in the summary section. And that's what most people do. They have those keywords in that summary section. So again, when I talk about great content, if we go just back one step, what I actually mean by great content is I mean that you need to be focusing on understanding your audience. So a big mistake that a lot of people make is they actually create a LinkedIn profile, but they're talking about themselves. And I know this is going to be sounding very strange, but actually, it's nothing to do with you. You know, that's a really bizarre thing to say. It's my LinkedIn profile. Surely it's to do with me. But no, you only get hired because ultimately there's a problem and they need to be able to see that you're the solution to that problem. So my background as a career coach and as somebody that actually actively uses LinkedIn to get clients, that's how I approach it. So if you're looking for somebody to do your LinkedIn profile for you, one of the things I would say to you is make sure that you understand what you're going to get. Make sure as well that you just letting somebody in, sorry. Make sure that you understand that you're not just completing a questionnaire and, you know, for all you know, it's somebody's
oh yeah, go on.
Information one, you have very nice wasp net.
Yeah.
You've got the two, I've fixed.
No, starting to be colourful. Oh, that's good. I might do like traffic lights in this one.
Hello. Can anybody?
Hey,
Sorry about that.
you're back, Sue.
Thank you. So sorry. So sorry. It's a long day. Let me share the screen. We can go back. Okay. So what I was just saying, I don't know how far that's gone, but I was saying basically that the LinkedIn profile, it needs to be fit for purpose. It needs to be tailored to your audience. So what that means is that you need to be saying to yourself, okay, if I've got, if I'm looking for job seekers, if I'm looking for employers, and you need to recognize that you only ever get hired if that company's got a problem. If they haven't got a problem, then they make you redundant. It's that simple. And the same goes for clients. They need to feel that you understand them. That's the point I'm trying to make. They need to feel that you recognize that they've got the problems and that you're able to solve those issues. So what I help as a career coach to do is I come at from that point of view. And often other career advisors simply just talk about what you've done. And I really believe that is not the answer. So if I create a resume, create a LinkedIn profile, it's coming from that point of view, which makes sense, yeah? Because ultimately, sorry, Mark, that was my fault. I'm glad you're back. That's ultimately how you want to be looking at it. You need to see it from that point of view. The great thing with LinkedIn is I believe that this day and age is that you have got so much opportunity, okay? And this is a positive. I know that we've got Corona. I know there's a load of crap going on in the world at the moment. However, it is all to do with mindset. And you either buy into it's all going to be crap and all going to be awful. And by the way, a lot of people will do that. And that also gives you an opportunity to keep moving forward. Yeah. So you kind of need to make a decision. We're going into the unknown. We're having to start managing this new normal. And a lot of people will feel demotivated. And a lot of people will not want to do things because of the current situation. They'll be like, well, what's the point? And because there's a high volume of people that will go in that mentality, you do have an opportunity to make sure that you are visible. And really what I teach people to do is be more visible. But it doesn't need to be in, look, I'm here, I'm on a webinar, look at me. It can be very discreet. Because unless I actually show you, oh, by the way, my profile views are over 1,600, that's very discreet. Nobody would know that. So this type of approach works for introverts and the opposite, yeah? It doesn't really matter. The point that I'm making is that you need to be kind of willing to go against what everybody's doing, particularly, and this is really key, particularly the higher up the corporate ladder that you go. So the higher up that you go, you need to be recognizing, or the bigger if you're after clients and you want to charge a lot of money, then the more time and effort needs to go on stuff like this, because this is the only way that they can evaluate you. Then that gives you an opportunity because you can change your narrative. You are able to write what you want people to see. So don't think to yourself, okay, what most people do, well, what's the point? Yeah, particularly in this Corona situation that we're currently on now, you have got an opportunity. A lot of people will think that the mindset will not see this as potentially there could be an opportunity. You need to start being more visible. And if you said to me, what's the biggest advice that I can give people? And I would say to you, the one thing that I think I've learned the hard way is that you just ultimately need to get into more conversations. The more conversations that you have with people that can either hire you, either for work, for a full-time job, or as they become your client, that's ultimately how you will benefit. Yeah. So everything needs to be thought in that way. So if I was to really put, and this is marketing, yeah, believe it or not, LinkedIn profile is marketing. It's marketing yourself to a particular audience. And if I had to put one thing that you're trying to do is literally just to have more conversations with key decision makers. So all I do is use LinkedIn to have more of those conversations. Yeah. And that's the key message that I think that you need to take from that. But in order to get those conversations, you need to hook people. You need to get them and you need to hook them in. So my belief really and truly is that you've got to have great content on that LinkedIn profile. And then you need to be seen by the right people. Okay? You need to be seen by the right people. Yeah. So let's just clarify what that means. Okay. I'm just going to try and show you what that means here. So it is really about thinking to yourself, okay, if ultimately that I want to get a job, or you're open to both of those options, get more clients, then you need to be creating the profile. And then you potentially, I'm going to give you a really good strategy. And this is what I actually do for clients, by the way, is that you could potentially be running what I call a LinkedIn campaign. Now, this is very time consuming, okay? But I will give you an example of what that means, if you wanted to do something like this yourself. But this is what I actually do for my clients. So one of the things that I do is I actually run LinkedIn campaigns, and let me explain what a LinkedIn campaign, what do I mean by that? So it could be that I'm saying to myself, okay, I either want to get more clients or I want to get a job. And a lot of you have said both. So one of the things that I would be looking at doing is maybe looking at, okay, who would be my future boss? Mm-hmm. Who could be my future boss? Yeah, because what we know is that LinkedIn is ultimately a database. And really what we're trying to do is use LinkedIn's vast database to start conversations with key people. So we are going to firstly identify the audience. Who is it that I actually want to target? Yeah. So, if you're open to a job, it could be that you are looking for your future boss. It could be that you're looking for recruiters in your industry. It could be that you're looking for maybe people that you're connected to already that you believe could help you. So one of the things that we'd be doing is working out 3 messages to go out, whether to just one person, yeah, over a period of time. And what we're looking to do is send those messages. So this is something that we would do on your behalf. And we obviously recognize that I don't like it when I'm getting sold to, yeah, book in a call here or do this, blah, blah, blah. So what we try and do is we try to add value. We try and create the messages where it's not just about me, but again, it's also about what they could find of value and what they could need. Maybe, if I'm being honest with you, a recruiter, we don't have to be so fluffy with, we can be incredibly direct. Yeah, so a great thing with recruiters is that they want you to reach out. It might not be very useful, but they still want to find a good person for that particular job because they get a commission. So what we want to make sure for the recruiter, for example, is that we've made it super simple to sell you. Because if it's easy to sell you, it's easy for that recruiter to put you in touch and feel confident that if they put you in touch with that person, it's going to have a positive effect, okay? There's going to be a win-win. So one of the things that we can do with recruiters is, again, we create a professional profile, we create a professional resume or CV for you, And the CV, again, we are talking about it not as what you've done, what you can do for them, different mindset. I also do 2 CVs or CVs, I would say, or resumes, whatever you want to call it. One's your standard black and white version, and the other one is your creative, what I call a creative CV template. Okay, so the creative CV template is just something that looks pretty. Again, I offer this on my website, and all the money goes to charity. And I'm gonna actually, won't let me in. It's doing that at the moment. I'm trying to let somebody in and it's not letting me in. Very strange. We'll come back and see if it'll let it in a second. But on my website, there is actually at the shop page, there is actually, if you just go to executive job search, if anybody buys, I will actually put this in the link actually. If anybody buys the creative CV templates, they're just, they're £10, you get 6 creative CV templates. All the money goes to charity, and I will actually send you the receipt, which I then forward to the charity, or I get from the charity. I can't get any further than that. I will send the link with this video that I sent across so you can have a little look at it. But basically, it's a creative CV template that just looks pretty, okay? Because I'm a big believer, if something looks the part, yeah? If something looks the part, you take a second look, and really that's what you're trying to do. And the same is it with the LinkedIn profile. That's the way that you ultimately need to be looking at it. Just bear with me 1 second and I will show what I'm on about. I think we've got a question. Okay, no problem. Okay, so these CVs are £20 each, okay? The ones that I'm going to send to you are, it's like 6 CV templates here that are just for £10. All this money goes to charity, but what I was basically trying to say is it needs to look part, it needs to be looking like this. So, you know, you need to be saying to yourself, okay, if I am looking for clients, yeah, and we're sending something, you know, we're doing a LinkedIn campaign, and you want ultimately to start getting people interested in what you're doing, you know, one of the things that you will initially particularly need to do at the beginning of this journey is you will need to reach out to people. You will need to physically reach out to people. And one of the things that I see people doing, particularly if they are looking for clients, they just think, oh, I can just put a couple of blogs up. That'll do. I'm like, no, absolutely not. Okay. There is a real strategy to this whole thing. And what I'm trying to say to you is that you need to be joining the things up. Yes, it helps. That part of the jigsaw puzzle piece builds brand. It builds your reputation. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily get you clients, because half the time, and you know, by all means, I'm sure somebody's done this. They wrote a blog post, for example, but they haven't actually put a strong call to action at the bottom of that blog post, which basically means that it leads nowhere. So a call to action is where you basically tell people, this is what I expect you to do. So if we go back when I was saying about a LinkedIn campaign, you need to recognize at the start, when you're looking particularly for a job or you're looking to get clients, you really do need to be reaching out to people. You need to be sending, you know, you need to think of yourself as a salesperson in some senses, but you need to have really well thought out messages that are focused on engaging with that person. They can't come across as salesy. They will eventually, but they can't come straight away, okay? And they need to be looking at adding value. And then once we've got those messages and once we've defined your audience, because remember what I said to you, LinkedIn is ultimately a big database. That's when we can start actually targeting individual people, whether they are already connected to you or whether they should be connected with you, okay? Now, the great thing about this is if I was running this campaign for you, I would do all this for you. And as I think in the salesperson's type mentality, what I don't do is just go, oh, we sent that person one message, they didn't come back. I would still be looking, and I would still expect, if you want to DIY something like this, you need to be saying to yourself, okay, within, you know, I don't know, 1 week later, have not heard a reply, then I need to make sure that I follow up with that person. And it is very tedious, I'm not going to lie to you, because it's very hard. Don't know if you've noticed, but the LinkedIn inbox, oh my God, it's a nightmare to manage. Yeah? Particularly when you start getting volumes of messages going out, it becomes very complicated to figure out who you need to be speaking with and who you need to be following up. So it's very easy to miss people. So one of the things that I do for people is, if I was running your LinkedIn campaign, sorry about this, is I would also make sure, because I understand that that's what's going to happen, that any replies actually go into what's called a Google Sheet. So it looks like a spreadsheet, but it's in real time. That's the best thing. So you get access to replies as and when they come in straight away. So you're not going, I can't manage this inbox, I don't know where this person sent this message, because that's ultimately what will happen. The best bit about this is that you will then start building an email list. Now that's really good news if you're a business, okay? That's incredibly good news. If you see yourself as a business, you ultimately need an email list. And I see people, you know, creating websites. And again, if we go back to very much basics, they've got their own website, they're promoting themselves. And yet, statistics tell us that most people will never go back on that website again. So you need to make sure that the website that you create and spend thousands on, and by the way, I'm not saying that you should be doing this, and I don't believe that you need to do this, yeah? But if you are thinking about a website before you've got clients, you're doing it in the wrong way, okay? Most people are just like, what? I'm saying to you, don't get a website, don't spend money on a website until you've got clients, okay? Because you're always gonna have the same problem. How do I get people to that website? That's what most people don't recognize. And then when you do get the website, most people don't create a website that's actually fit for purpose. So a website that's fit for purpose is one where you actually get people's emails from. If you don't get people's emails, the reality is that they're not going to come back to your website, and therefore you can never really connect with them again, and you can't message them. And the whole point of what I've been saying from the very start is that you need to be getting into conversations with people. That's your ultimate goal. If you're not looking at it in that way, that's the way that you need to be thinking about. So, you know, if you're starting a business, in my opinion, the website is actually not one of the first things that you need. You actually need clients. Treat your LinkedIn profile as the website. The LinkedIn profile, by doing a LinkedIn campaign, actually help build an email list as well. Why do you want an email list? Because you ultimately need to email people to keep relevant, to keep in touch with them, to get clients. And most people don't do that. Is there any other questions on this? Because I just wanted to explain that's my mentality. Yeah, if you are, you know, that's, to me, if, you know, the whole purpose of this session was to say why having a LinkedIn profile is absolutely key. Well, the first thing, you know, that, you know, if we were just looking at it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you and I both know that they're going to Google you on LinkedIn. Yeah. If somebody is thinking about hiring you, they're going to do the due diligence and they're going to check you out online. So step one, have a bloody good LinkedIn profile just for that reason alone, okay? Another reason, if you are high up or you're trying to get a very high level job, it is absolutely, absolutely key in my eyes that you have a fantastic LinkedIn profile, because they can't evaluate you other than what you provide them. So if you've got something that's rubbish or that's average, that's the only way that they can evaluate if you're any good. Yeah, because they don't know you, they never worked with you. So normally what happens is that you are good within the four walls of the company that you've worked, but they're not in your four walls. They haven't worked with you often in the past. So you need to help them. And that is one way that you can help them, is improve the LinkedIn profile, improve the CV, improve the resume, so it's absolutely the best it ultimately can be. So that's they're your two foundations. They're your foundation pieces. Then after that, if you're saying to me, I really, really do want to get a job very quickly, the old school approach in the past was, I don't know if you remember 20 years ago, you used to get the paper out and you'd circle a job and then you'd actually post it. Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers those days, okay? Now that's not happening, okay? You can be proactive. You can take the lead. So back in the day, it was very much, this is what you do, you follow this process. But you don't need to do that. You can be proactive. You can reach out to people. And ultimately, you know, I was speaking to somebody from marketing yesterday, and we were talking about, so this guy was a marketing expert. And I said to him, do you know what? Doing something like this, you know, to reach key decision makers, or, you know, would be fantastic. Yeah, for you, because actually you're practicing what you preach. Yeah, it's the same with sales. You know, they could see, my God, this person's reached the key decision maker. Yeah, or business development. That is fantastic. Obviously, it works for other organizations, you know, other sectors or other jobs. Obviously, it would work the same. But for those core jobs, I just think to myself, that's not just, that's like me going, look at me, I actually do this for myself. Yeah, that's quite a clever move. Somebody's asked a question about the Google Sheet. We set that up, to be honest with you. So I've got tech guys that sort that out. So I'm going to be just very nerdy and say, I don't know, but we set that up. So ultimately, all the messages come in, and all the, you know, the details of who that person is, it comes through, and you would have that information, you know, quick to hand. So that's why it's really good. I just don't know how they do it, but I know that they do it. It's just one of the things that we found that works quite well. And, you know, we do try to, sorry, I'm just going to omit somebody. I don't know why it not works all the time. What we really do is try and look at, okay, all the time, how can we improve what we're doing? Yeah, so, you know, we can see, you know, well, I recognize, for example, from my personal opinion, the inbox gets crazy. So that's why the Google Sheet came up. But if there was, you know, if we, you know, one of the things that we do is we have an actual campaign manager for you, and that campaign manager monitors those messages going out, make sure that they're going, that it's doing as it should do, you know, each and every day. If you don't reply to a message within 24 hours, you know, these guys will be at you saying, hey, you know, it's good practice that you need to be contacting this person, you know, 24 hours later, nudge, nudge. Obviously, we kind of say to people, you're the expert in what we do. We're going to be doing all the hard work, sending the messages out, but your goal is to respond to any inquiries, okay? Any questions about that? Because that was a good one. I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. He was asking is, love the idea of the inbox to Google Sheet. Is that a special add-on? As I said, I don't know. All I can say to you is that we just make that any messages from LinkedIn on all new connections. So even if, for example, they don't reply to a message, but they simply connect with you, all their information is taken off LinkedIn, including their email address. And that's good, okay? Because you ultimately eventually want to start communicating with them. And I will be honest with everybody, Yeah, you can't continue to message people on LinkedIn. They're going to get annoyed. So I generally do, 3 messages on LinkedIn. And then after that, I try and take the conversation off LinkedIn. One of the things that I didn't mention that we also do as well, not a problem. One of the things that we also do as well is that we do what I call them nice touches. So nice touches is where you wish people a happy birthday. And we also endorse 50 people per day. So you can see the activity that's going on, yeah? 50 people a day. We also wish people happy anniversary. What's the other one? I should know all this. Happy anniversary, birthday, new job, okay? New job wouldn't really work for me, but but it could work for other people. So why are we doing this? And this is clever, you're gonna like this. So we do all the nice touches. And if somebody replies, and by the way, there's a high level of people that reply, I'd say maybe 50% of people will reply to the messages that we send out for the nice touches. And the reason why is because it's an automated message. I don't know if you've noticed it. Somebody endorses you or somebody says, I hope you have a happy birthday, that the automated message comes up and you just press send. That's all you have to do. So it increases that chance. If somebody engages with you, that's when we would then do a follow-up message to that person. And that message could be quite clever, okay? So this won't work for everybody. This is what I do, but I'm just giving you an example. But there's other things that we can do, and I'll give you 2 examples. So one of them is that if it's somebody's birthday, I might, hope you had a great birthday, blah, blah, blah. They come back to me and then I might say, oh, I'm glad that you had a nice day or whatever. I'm not sure if you're interested, but I'm more than happy to offer you one of my book for free on Amazon. I've got 2 books on Amazon at the moment, and I just say, would you like book 1 or book 2? Best wishes. Yeah, don't worry. I normally say in brackets, don't worry, I'm not expecting you to pay. Yeah, so that gets people engaged. Yeah, so one of those books is all to do with job seekers, and the other book is all to do with how to get clients. Okay, and I do say it might not be relevant at all to you, yeah, but it's nice to engage, it's nice to give. That's one example. But obviously what also is that we would work with you to work out what would work for your audience. I'm not saying, and let me be very clear, that you have to write 2 books, okay? It could be that we look at what's a really clever question that we could be asking. I don't know, you send somebody a happy anniversary, they reply back, and again, this is what I do, is I might say, okay, I'm really glad that you you had a great day, or something like that. I then might say something along the lines of, now that I've got you, quick question. Yeah, my quick question is, how many hours are you spending on LinkedIn? Either looking for a job or trying to find clients. I might have a sleeker approach. Are you interested? Okay, so what we're trying to do, as I said from the day one, very start of this, is I use LinkedIn as a medium to engage with people. Okay, and I find that when you engage with people, and people, just like this webinar, yeah, then it's a way for people to go, okay, this person either knows the stuff, doesn't know the stuff, totally fine, but it helps people to make a decision would they would like to work with you in the future. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do. You're trying to build a relationship, and that's what I see LinkedIn as being. It's about relationship building, and therefore you've got to take that conversation off LinkedIn as well. So I had a really nice message. I've had 2 sessions today, and oh God, I didn't realize he came to both sessions, and he said please enjoyed both of them. But has anybody got any questions? These sessions are only meant to be 20 minutes, and I always go over, but I'm hoping that you found them useful. Any questions? By all means, you can just shout out, or you can type it in the chat box. But if anybody is interested in me helping them with either option, getting a job or getting more clients, we can have a complimentary conversation to look at what you're trying to do, whether it's your job search, what you're currently doing now and how we can take it to another level, or whether that you're looking to get more clients. We can look at your business, looking at where you are now and what changes that you need to make happen to take you to that next stage as well. So if anybody's interested in this, I do actually offer a complimentary sessions. It's one-on-one and we can discuss it in detail, and I will put it in the message, or I'll just say shout it out. My email is Susan Beck, all one word, @live.co.uk. Right, okay, brilliant. Okay, yeah, Mark, please get in touch. It's Susan Beck, all one word, which is BURKE.co.uk. If I've sent you an email, just reply to the email, because that's probably where you will come from anyway. Took the conversation offline, okay? Right. Fantastic. Please do, Ken, please do get in touch, okay? That is always open. So if you're stuck, just get in touch and we can look at you. It's complimentary. There's no, oh, that's so sweet. Okay, I will look at that. Thank you so much. Okay, so any other questions? Yeah, there will be a recording. So that's a good, I try to, I've been very good lately. So last week I failed to record the last session. So I've managed to actually save both sessions. So that's quite impressive for me. So I'm pretty, so you will get a recording. I'm going to be honest with you, it won't be until next week because it's bank holiday in the UK. Okay, but you will get the recording and you will get, you know, so yeah. Okay, oh, thank you, Henry, for saying that you appreciate the 2 sessions. Yeah, it's been fun. I do like them. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. So any other questions, please let me know. It's been lovely, or send me an email if you don't want to discuss it here. Susan Beck @live.co.uk. My surname is spelled BURKE. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you so much. And there will be another session next week. So hopefully see you there as well. And you would have got an email with what the session is. Okay. Thank you about the bank holiday. And if you're in the UK, I hope you have a lovely bank holiday as well. Speak soon. Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care. Take care.